Ladies and gentlemen, let me ask you a question that may disturb your comfort but will ignite your potential. What part of you must die so the real you can live? Right now, as you sit here, a version of you is thriving, a version built on excuses, hesitation, fear, and comfort. That version is not your ally. That version is your enemy. It's the version that presses the snooze button, that says maybe tomorrow, that fears failure more than it desires success. That weak version of you is not your true self. It is your prison. And today you must kill it. The greatest enemy you will ever face isn't out there in the world. It isn't the competition, the economy, your circumstances, or the people who doubt you. It's the version of yourself that you tolerate. The version that lives in fear, seeks comfort, and hesitates when it should act. This weaker self whispers excuses into your ear. It tells you to wait until you're ready, to avoid risk, to play it safe. And every time you listen, you give it more power. This version of you thrives on your insecurities. It feeds on your indecision. It convinces you that you're not enough, that you should settle for less, that your dreams are too big. It cloaks itself in logic and pretends to protect you, when in reality, it's the voice of it wants you small, it wants you stuck, and the more you entertain it, the more real it becomes. You were not born to be average. There is a stronger version of you waiting to be unleashed, the one who takes action despite fear, who doesn't fold under pressure, who gets back up every time life knocks you down. But that version can't breathe if you keep nurturing the weaker one. To overcome this enemy, you must first recognize it for what it is. It's not your truth, it's a habit, a shadow, a story you've repeated so often that you believe it's you. But it's not. And once you see it clearly, you can do what must be done. Confront it, silence it, and ultimately kill it. Until you do, it will always stand between you and everything you're capable of becoming. The battlefield is within, and the war is between who you are and who you could be. Choose your side wisely. Real transformation does not begin by adding more to your life. It begins by letting go. Too often, we believe we need to learn more, do more, or acquire more to become our best selves. But the truth is, the path to growth is just as much about subtraction as it is about addition. You cannot build a powerful, purpose-driven life on top of weak foundations. If the habits, thoughts, and beliefs you currently hold are built on fear, laziness, or self-doubt, then you must remove them before anything great can rise in their place. Think of yourself as a sculptor. The masterpiece already exists within the block of stone, but only through the act of chipping away can the real figure emerge. In the same way, your potential is already inside you, waiting to be uncovered. The weak version of yourself, full of hesitation, excuses, and limiting beliefs, is simply excess stone. It must be carved away. This is not an easy process. Elimination requires discipline. It demands that you confront parts of yourself that have been with you for years, perhaps your entire life. But growth is not about comfort. It is about choosing what is necessary over what is easy. If you want to rise, you must be willing to cut off what weighs you down, even if it's familiar. Every time you eliminate a toxic habit, a destructive mindset, or a fear-based decision, you create more space for strength, clarity, and purpose. What you remove is just as powerful as what you add. You don't need to become something new. You need to shed what you are not. Only then will the stronger, truer version of you have room to emerge. Transformation begins with sacrifice. And that sacrifice starts with eliminating who you no longer wish to be. Every day, you are faced with a simple but powerful choice. Remain the same, or rise into something greater. Greatness is not gifted to the few, it is claimed by the committed. It doesn't belong to those who merely wish for it, but to those who decide they are willing to pay the price. The truth is, You are not locked into your current state. Strength and weakness are not fixed traits. They are decisions you make with every thought, every action, and every moment of hesitation or determination. People often wait for some inner shift to happen on its own, as if one day they'll wake up stronger, more focused, more disciplined. But that day never comes unless it's chosen. The man or woman who builds an extraordinary life does not wait for the perfect mindset, they forge it. They act when they are afraid. They show up when it's uncomfortable. They speak up when their voice shakes. That is strength. And it comes from choosing to be strong when weakness is the easier option. The weaker version of you will always try to convince you that strength is something external, something you lack, something you'll find someday. But the stronger version knows the truth. Strength is built by doing the hard thing, again and again, even when you don't feel like it, especially when you don't feel like it. You are one decision away, every day, from stepping into power or retreating into mediocrity. The only thing standing between you and the life you were meant to live is the decision to stop negotiating with fear, stop apologizing for ambition, and stop choosing comfort over courage. Greatness does not wait for you. You must choose it decisively, consistently, and without excuse. Excuses are the bricks with which failure is built. Every time you justify inaction, delay a commitment, or blame circumstances, you reinforce the walls that keep you confined. Excuses feel harmless in the moment. They offer relief, a temporary escape from responsibility. But over time, they harden into patterns, and those patterns become your reality. The more you indulge them, the more powerless you feel. They quietly erode your belief in what's possible, convincing you that your limitations are permanent when they are not. Poor consent, on the other hand, is power. It doesn't need to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be bold at first. Even small steps, taken consistently, begin to break the grip of your excuses. Action rewires your mind. It tells your subconscious, I am not stuck, I am in control. With every choice to act, especially when you don't feel ready, you chip away at the foundation of fear. You prove to yourself that progress is possible and that growth is earned, not given. What separates those who achieve extraordinary things from those who don't isn't talent or luck. It's the willingness to act when most people are still justifying why they can't. While others are explaining their limitations, the achiever is building momentum. That momentum compounds. Action creates clarity, builds confidence, and silences the voice of doubt. If you want to become the strongest version of yourself, stop feeding the weaker one with excuses. Each time you act in spite of fear, hesitation, or discomfort, you weaken the chains that hold you back. There will always be a reason not to start. But every time you choose action over avoidance, you reclaim your power and move closer to the life you were meant to lead. The cost of greatness is action. Nothing more and nothing less. Comfort is seductive. It promises ease, safety, and predictability. It whispers that you're fine where you are, that pushing further isn't necessary, that risking discomfort isn't worth it. But comfort is a liar. It slowly numbs your potential and makes mediocrity feel acceptable. The weak version of yourself thrives in comfort. It doesn't want challenge because challenge exposes its fragility. It doesn't want growth because growth demands pain. And as long as you protect that comfort, you also protect that weaker self-growth. Real growth demands discomfort. It asks you to wake up earlier, to work harder, to face criticism, to keep going when motivation runs dry. It requires you to stretch, stumble, and start over. It is not gentle. It is not convenient. And that is why so few experience it. Most people will do everything they can to avoid discomfort, never realizing that by doing so, they're also avoiding transformation. You cannot evolve while protecting comfort. The person you want to become lives on the other side of the very things you're afraid to do. There's no way around this. You must step into situations that challenge you, force you to grow, and reveal your untapped strength. That means saying no to old habits. That means leaving behind environments and people that no longer support your higher vision. That means facing the truth about your patterns and holding yourself accountable. Choosing comfort keeps you familiar, predictable, and stuck. Choosing growth makes you uncomfortable, uncertain, and alive. You will never become the strongest version of yourself while clinging to the habits and thoughts that belong to the weakest. Let go of comfort, seek challenge, hands up, and walk willingly into the fire of discomfort, and watch how the lesser version of you burns away, leaving only the stronger, bolder, unstoppable you. There comes a time in every person's life when they must draw a line in the sand and decide, truly decide, that the person they've been is no longer enough, not because that version was a failure, but because it was a foundation, a starting point. But the danger lies in staying there, in becoming attached to that old identity. To rise, you must burn the bridge to who you were, so there's no way back, only forward. As long as you keep one foot in your past and one in your future, you remain divided. You dilute your power. You second-guess yourself. And you give the weaker version of you a chance to survive. But when you burn the bridge, when you truly commit to leaving behind the excuses, the laziness, the fear, you send a message to yourself and the world: I am no longer available for the life I used to live. This isn't about perfection. It's about direction. It's about identity. If you keep identifying with your past struggles, you'll keep recreating them. But when you let go of that version and claim a new identity, one built on discipline, courage, and purpose, your actions start to align with that higher standard. There is freedom in finality. When you stop giving yourself the option to go back, your energy shifts. You stop negotiating with old habits. You stop tolerating smallness. You begin to rise with clarity and power because you've removed the escape routes. Burning the bridge doesn't mean forgetting your past. It means refusing to live there. You're not that person anymore. You've outgrown the fear, outgrown the comfort, outgrown the limits. Let the old version die with gratitude and step fully into the fire of who you were meant to become. Only then can transformation truly begin.